Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me recognize my cabinet colleagues, staff, the cabinet secretary, attorney general, the staff of the office of the prime minister, external affairs, and most importantly, the staff of the National Printing Corporation. Could you give them a round of applause, please? There are certain things that you find when you get into government that are inevitable. We found a series of old buildings, or well, not the word old, I must be careful. We found a series of buildings that were not fit for work, not fit for purpose. There are several of them. There was the passport office, there was the national printry, there was the health center, there was the inner revenue department. There were a number of buildings that staff operated from that were not fit for purpose. And these did not start in July 2021. They were there for a long time. Our job after July 2021, because of our deep belief that the people must come first and the staff must come first, we did not plan to move the staff. We did not show pictures of where the staff would have gone to. We did not have grandiose plans of destroying buildings and putting parks. But we decided that we would work with the staff, and not the point, with the existing staff, with the staff, to move with the management that we found, to move the staff to work under better conditions. And that was the principal reason why we embarked on getting the staff of the printry out of where they were. We did not plan or tell them or have a vision of where they would be. We got to work with the existing Permanent Secretary Senkwa. We got to work with the existing Cabinet Secretary, Ben Emmanuel, and the staff of the printry to find ways and means of improving their conditions of work. It was a hard journey because the staff had been moved from pillar to post. They had been moved from a building by the market, a building which, since I know myself, the printry was there. And I remember the noises coming out of that building because of the ancient press that was being used there. Noises. You pass at night and you hear noises. And there are always stories about confidential documents leaking out of the printry, and politicians used to make a big fuss that documents came out of the printry. You note that this prime minister has never accused anybody of leaking any documents, and that happened all the time. Then you found yourself, then that building, if I know it, was not good for working conditions. So it was decided that the people, the printry, would have to move. It moved to the old Treasury building. I know it's very important that you take some time with me to go through the history of that organization, because there is selective memory loss in St. Lucia. We pretend as if St. Lucia began on a particular day. Selective memory loss. So you find ourselves in a situation where these people were moved to where the old Treasury was. And incidentally, upstairs that building had been abandoned, but they moved them downstairs. And I remember going into a parliament meeting, and I'm being asked, because all the time that discussion with the then PS, Mr. Nkwa, and the then Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Emmanuel, and the PS now, who was the PS in the Ministry of Finance. And incidentally, Mr. Nkwa retired. She was not sent home. So we find ourselves in that situation with all that discussion going on about moving these people. And these people labored in that environment. So when I went into that environment, I saw a group of people demotivated, a group of people who were just doing a labor of love. Then there was talk before my time of moving them to a building in BZ. And I invest St. Lucia building BZ. Again, talk, vision of moving them to BZ. That never came about because the cost was just exorbitant. PS is changed. PS Rigobot became the PS in the ministry, in the office of the Prime Minister, and she, in her wisdom, continued that search. So we searched and we searched and we searched, and the staff endured and they endured and they endured. And these people need these people are remarkable people. They endured, and they were not very lucky in that nobody demonstrated outside for them. So we found ourselves, the staff endured. Then PS Rigobot searching, and she decided that she should have looked for another building. She looked because the building up at BZ was not suitable, and fiscally it did not make any sense. So she searched. Then there was all kind of discussion about moving them to the north, and all kind of plans, things that I said, well said, plans, discussions, pictures, vision. Let's move, we'll do this, we'll do that. But all the time the staff are suffering. Then they were moved, the discussion came, and then this building was found. And the PS came to me and asked me whether I had any issues with using that building. Because the PS was quite aware of what she was asking. And my answer was, once the building is fit for purpose and the staff are happy, it's fit for purpose, I have X amount of dollars to invest, so do whatever you want. And she can beg testimony to that. I never asked who owned it. I never asked who was related to who owned it. I never asked any of these questions. All I said was, once the staff is ready, once the staff is satisfied, my emphasis was improving the conditions for the staff. And the rest is history. We spent nearly $2 million in getting the staff into that building. And I want again to thank them for doing that. And that has been the case with many buildings. Very soon I've asked that we open the passport office, because again we have selective memory loss. We remember the issues as they relate to the passport office. There was mold, there was this, there was that, half-day work, this and that. Passports cannot be issued in time. All passports, CIP ones also, cannot be issued in time, because I'm not sure that you know that CIP passports are issued from the same passport where I got, from the same office where I got mine where you got yours. So we found ourselves, same thing with the passport office. Again, staff problems. That time they were lucky, there was some demonstrations for them, because the people were getting issues with their passports. So again, a search, not a plan, not a vision, a plan, not a vision, not a picture, but a reality. And we moved the passport office. So very soon, we'll be going to officially open the passport office and pay tribute to the staff who work in that office. Same thing with the health center. Another building. not fit for purpose. For many years, talk, discussion, complex, this, that, pictures, computer renderings, nothing. We moved the staff out of the health center building, and very shortly, that's these people, the staff, and I want to pay tribute to them, will be operating from the old Victoria Hospital. There's going to be a modern polyclinic built for them. The building is going to be refurbished, and the services at the health center that are now being provided at Anchipo and La Clary, these services are going to be provided in modern surroundings at the Victoria Hospital, the old Victoria Hospital. Again, we could not allow our people to work in conditions as they existed on the chaussee. And again, that did not start in 2021. There was a lot of discussion about mold in that building on the chaussee. In fact, the new building next to the health center had been abandoned for a long time. You may recall, it has been abandoned for a long time, the new building next to the health center building. And why I'm saying that? I'm saying that because it's very important that we remember many things and stop this selective memory loss in this country. Very important. Because the history must show that these things that are surfacing now existed. Why is the DBS mic falling? That these things that exist now, existed for a long time before 2021. And all what happened before that time was talk, pictures, discussion, renderings, computer printouts of what would have happened. But today, we are showing what is happening and what will happen for the passport office and what will happen for the polyclinic at the old Victoria Hospital. The business of printing is a traditional business. As I said before, we had these printers that made a lot of noise, these dark rooms, and all sorts of things. And now we have evolved. We evolved a situation where the people of St. Lucia can boast of a modern, state-of-the-art printing facilities. We can boast of it. And I'm heartened by the fact that we're doing it together. We're using the technology and we're using the traditional methods. So we have a website, and then we are also doing the physical printing. So we are keeping in tune with the times. What we have to do now is to ensure that the printry works for us, works for the people, and I want to tell the staff and the Permanent Secretary to use their innovation to make the printry work for us. It was said that there are only two printers in the country, the Voice and the NPC. So let us collaborate to ensure that a lot of the printing that is done out of this country can be done locally, and we can keep the foreign exchange locally. We have the talent, we have the expertise, so I hope that we can explore, we can think. So a lot of the marketing, a lot of the incentives we have to give to people to bring in printing material. We can collaborate with the existing printry, we can collaborate with the existing printry and the existing business of printing in St. Lucia, so we can keep that foreign exchange in our country. That is what we must think of. The government will do its part. The government is committed to ensuring that the members of the public service work in conditions that are suitable. All we ask from them is to pursue the policy of the government. That's all we ask. We ask that when policies are laid up, you follow them. That's all we ask. We ask you for your ideas. We ask you for your criticisms, if you have to. But feel free to understand that the only purpose why we are in government is to serve people And you are at the forefront of that service to the people of St. Lucia. If I tell you, I don't feel relieved by what is happening this morning, I will not be speaking the truth. The artist who gave the spoken word, if he was a politician, he'd be in trouble. But he's lucky he's not a politician. But I also want to congratulate him because his message was clear. His message is clear that life changes and you can take a canvas and you can do many things with that same canvas. So I want you to give him a round of applause for his performance. And we also saw the talent of Mrs. Myers. I never realized she had an extension to her name, Mrs. Myers. I think that song was, the last performance was epic. And I want to congratulate you for that. The PS of the Office of the Prime Minister, again, I met the PS. I met her. I met her in the Office of the Prime Minister. She was the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance. And she can attest to the fact that I always treated her with the greatest respect, as I treat all public servants, all permanent secretaries. I treat them with the greatest respect. It's not my business to read anybody's heart. I don't try. What I do is that I try to work with everybody who is around me. And look at my history. You know, I want you to look at a lot of things when people say things. Look at the hierarchy of the public service. Just look at it. And compare with what happened before. And you must take time, and let me tell you something. From now on, and some people may not invite me, any speech that I will give from now on, I will give it in a historical context. Because there is too much memory loss in this country. Too much resurrection of people who their history doesn't deserve resurrection. But if they want that resurrection, I am going to resurrect it. So be forewarned. At any time I'm called to speak in public, I will be recalling what I know factually and what has happened. Like what's happening here today. The factual history of what happened here, of what is happening here today. And we're going to be opening the new passport office. So be prepared for another factual, another historical journey into what happened in the passport office. So only one, if you don't invite me, don't invite the Prime Minister. Because it's time that the masquerading that takes place in this country, it's time it stops. It's time we deal with the issues that are pertinent to the development of this country. It is time that we get together to deal with the problems that face the world and that face the country as a whole. It's time we do that. It is time. So, P.S., I want to pay tribute to you and the staff of the Princery. I want to pay tribute to all the public servants in this country. I understand that sometimes they do not work under the best conditions. St. Lucia has now an infestation of mold. Where it came from, I really don't know. But every building in this country almost seem to have mold infestations. But that comes to a central problem. We have not maintained government buildings adequately. We've not maintained them adequately. The office where I work from for now, because it's the people's office. There's a bucket that collects water when rain falls. That's a fact. We've not maintained our buildings properly, and we have to change that. We have to use the limited fiscal space we have to change the idea of how we speak about maintenance. I want to thank everyone. I want to tell you that I have toured that building. I am extremely impressed by what I saw. So if I don't join you, it's because I've done it before. I think that there was a merger of technologies from, I think, a Trinidadian firm and St. Lucian expertise, but the talent that was displayed in St. Lucia by Anius and is talent that we must applaud. Working with foreign talent, the local talent, and we came up with what we have here today. So thank you everyone, and do have an enjoyable day.